The truth about narcissists is simple, yet most people never see it until they escape. They are parasites of emotion. They cannot survive without your reactions. Your anger, your tears, your confusion, that's their oxygen. Every time you respond, they feel alive. You are the mirror in which they see themselves, the stage on which their false confidence performs. But when you go silent, that entire illusion collapses. A narcissist does not love you, they need you. They need your admiration to feel powerful, your attention to feel real, and your arguments to feel significant. When you stop speaking, you take away the stage, the lights go out, and suddenly the great performer is standing in the dark, staring into nothing. They panic because without your emotional supply, their world becomes unbearably quiet. They begin to suffocate in that silence, not because of what you said, but because of what you didn't. Silence reveals the truth they've been hiding from themselves, that their worth depends entirely on how others react. They built an empire of manipulation, but that empire was built on your engagement. When you go silent, it's like pulling the plug from a machine that only runs on your attention. The gears stop turning, the noise stops, the illusion dies, and here's the beautiful irony. They accused you of being too emotional, too sensitive, too dramatic. Yet your calm silence exposes that they were the emotional addict all along. They were the ones who couldn't function without chaos. They needed conflict to feel important, but silence denies them that chaos. It leaves them stranded in the desert of their own mind, where no one claps, no one reacts, no one validates. At first, they will provoke you harder. They'll send messages, bait you with guilt, or pretend to change. They'll say, "Why aren't you responding?" Not because they care, but because they're terrified. Silence is your declaration of independence, and they can feel it. They can smell the loss of control, and in that panic, they expose who they really are: empty, fragile, addicted to attention like a drug they can't live without. When you go silent, you become a mirror they can no longer manipulate. They are forced to look at themselves without distortion, and they hate what they see. They see the lies, the cruelty, the manipulation. They see the person you finally stopped believing in. And that's why your silence is louder than any revenge, sharper than any insult. It doesn't humiliate them publicly, it dismantles them privately. Your silence says, "You no longer have access to my soul." Your silence says, "I am done explaining myself to someone who never listened." Your silence says, "You have lost your power because I have taken back mine." And when that realization hits them, when they finally feel the void you've left behind, that's the punishment they can never escape. Because the narcissist can replace your body, but they can never replace your energy. And that silence, that beautiful, impenetrable silence, that's the sound of your freedom echoing in their collapse. Control, that's the narcotic a narcissist lives on. Every move they make, every lie they tell, every manipulation they construct is designed to control how you feel and how you respond. They don't care about truth, they care about dominance. Their greatest fear isn't losing you, it's losing control over you. And silence is the one thing they can't control. It is the one response they can't predict, twist, or manipulate. That's why it terrifies them. When you stop reacting, you cut the strings they use to puppet your emotions. They can no longer pull you into their chaos or rewrite your reality. They lose their grip on your mind, and suddenly, the game they were winning turns against them. Your silence dismantles the illusion that they are in charge. It reveals the simple truth they've tried to hide from both of you. They never had power, they only borrowed yours. Think about it. Their entire identity is built on reactions. If they insult you, they expect rage. If they play the victim, they expect sympathy. If they guilt trip you, they expect compliance. Every word they throw at you is bait, and every response you give is the reward they crave. But silence is starvation. It's the end of the game. It tells them, "You don't get to pull my strings anymore." The moment you go silent, the narcissist starts to unravel. You'll see them shift from superiority to confusion, from confidence to panic. They will try everything: guilt, charm, threats, fake apologies, just to break that silence, because in silence they lose their reflection. And when they can't control your voice, they can't control the narrative. That's the moment they realize their empire of manipulation has collapsed. Silence dismantles control because it forces the narcissist into a place they can't survive: uncertainty. They start questioning themselves. Did I lose them? Are they moving on? Are they telling others about me? Their paranoia turns inward, and the control they once held over you begins to consume them. The same anxiety they used to plant in your mind becomes their own torment. That's the poetic justice of silence. The abuser becomes haunted by the absence of their victim's response. They'll even try to provoke you into breaking it. They'll do something outrageous, cruel, or absurd just to make you react. Because if you react, even with anger, they regain control. They win again. But when you remain silent, calm, unmoved, unshaken, you become untouchable. Your silence says, you don't control me anymore. Your silence becomes a wall that their manipulation can't penetrate. And that's when they finally feel powerless. They look at you and realize the game is over. You are no longer a participant. You're the one who walked off the stage while they're still performing to an empty room. They can shout, they can pretend, they can rage, but the silence stays. That silence is not weakness. It's not avoidance. It's the sound of control shifting from them back to you. It's the invisible line that says, you no longer own my emotions. And once a narcissist sees that, truly sees that, their illusion of control doesn't just fade, it shatters. Narcissists spend their entire lives running from one truth, that inside there is nothing, no core, no peace, no genuine self. Just a hollow echo that they desperately try to drown out with attention, chaos, and control. They project confidence, superiority, and charm, but it's all smoke. Their ego is a shell built around a void, and your silence is the one thing that cracks it open. Because silence takes away their distractions. It removes the noise, and when the noise is gone, they are left alone with the one person they can't manipulate themselves. When you go silent, you don't just stop feeding them attention. You force them into confrontation with the emptiness they've denied for years. The very thing they have built their entire personality to avoid. Narcissists can't stand stillness because stillness means reflection, and reflection means truth. They fear the mirror of silence because it doesn't lie back to them. It doesn't validate their delusions. It doesn't say, you're amazing. It says, who are you without someone to control? And they have no answer. In that silence, their thoughts begin to turn on them. They feel the absence of the emotional energy you once provided, that energy that made them feel important, desired, powerful. Without it, they begin to feel small, irrelevant, unseen. The mask starts to slip, and behind it, there's nothing but fear and insecurity. They realize that all their manipulation, all their grandstanding, all their cruelty was never strength. It was desperation. It was their attempt to silence the emptiness inside, but now your silence amplifies it. It echoes in their mind until it becomes unbearable. This is why they will do anything to break that silence. They will try to provoke you, insult you, or suddenly act kind and remorseful. Not because they've changed, but because they can't stand being alone with themselves. Your silence becomes a mirror that reflects back their truth. They are emotionally bankrupt. They don't love themselves. They only love the control they had over you. And when that control is gone, they have to face what they've avoided all along, that without someone else's attention, they don't exist in any meaningful way. The most painful moment for a narcissist isn't being hated, it's being ignored. Hatred still acknowledges their existence. Silence erases it. It's like pulling the plug on their illusion of importance. And as they sit in that void, they start to feel the thing they've always tried to inflict on others insignificance. But this is not cruelty on your part, it's clarity. You are not punishing them, you are freeing yourself. Their emptiness is not your responsibility to fill. Their chaos is not your burden to manage. Your silence simply reveals reality. And in that reality, they are forced to meet the truth they've spent a lifetime running from, that they were never powerful, only dependent. Never whole, only pretending. And when they finally face that truth in the echo of your silence, it doesn't just hurt them. It destroys the illusion they've lived behind, because for the first time, they can feel what you've always known, that there is no one left to blame and nowhere left to hide. The narcissist's greatest weapon isn't their cruelty, it's their mask, that carefully constructed image they show the world, charming, confident, admirable, even virtuous. They wear it like armor, convincing everyone around them that they are the victim, the hero, or the misunderstood genius. They need that mask because without it, they are exposed for what they are: manipulative, insecure, and emotionally bankrupt. And your silence, it's the one thing that rips that mask right off their face. When you stop engaging, the narcissist loses control over the story. They can't provoke you into reacting, can't extract emotional confessions they can twist, can't bait you into saying something they'll use to make themselves look like the martyr. Silence removes their stage, and with no stage, their performance collapses. They can't act without an audience. The persona they've spent years curating begins to crack, and the real face underneath, bitter, angry, fearful, starts to leak through. You see, narcissists are obsessed with perception. They survive through manipulation of how others see them. They can't live without validation from the outside world. Every conversation, every relationship, every story they tell is designed to maintain that mask of superiority. But your silence disrupts their narrative. They can't explain your stillness. They can't twist your words because you've given them none. They can't spin the story because you've taken the pen away. So, they begin to over-explain, overreact, and overcompensate. You'll see them posting dramatic things online, making false claims, or pretending they're doing just fine without you. They'll start telling others how cold, toxic, or ungrateful you are, all in a desperate attempt to patch the cracks in their public mask. But that desperation is the giveaway. People start to notice the inconsistency between the calm you project through silence and the chaos they project through defensiveness. Slowly, their own lies start exposing them. That's the quiet brilliance of silence. It makes them reveal themselves. It's not an argument, it's a mirror. They unravel publicly because your refusal to engage forces them into a frenzy of self-exposure. The calmness of your silence highlights the volatility of their behavior. They try to paint themselves as composed, but the truth leaks through every word they say. They can't fake peace when they're being eaten alive by your indifference. Eventually, the people they once fooled begin to see it, the contradictions, the overreactions, the bitterness behind their charm. Their social credibility starts to erode, not because you attacked them, but because your silence forced them to self-destruct. You didn't expose them, they exposed themselves trying to control the narrative you no longer cared about. And that's the ultimate unraveling. When the mask falls, so does their power. Because their entire existence depends on image, and silence doesn't fight that image, it dissolves it. It's surgical, silent justice. They can't accuse you of drama when you've said nothing. They can't twist your words when you've spoken none. They can't wear the mask of the victim when their actions keep proving otherwise. So when you stay silent, you don't just reclaim your peace, you turn their illusion inside out. Their social mask, once their greatest weapon, becomes their prison, because silence doesn't just expose who they are to the world, it finally forces them to see it themselves. Silence isn't about revenge, it's about freedom. The narcissist wants you to think that walking away quietly makes you weak, that your lack of reaction means they've won. But the truth is the opposite. Your silence isn't surrender, it's evolution. It's the moment you stop playing the game they designed. The moment you stop existing inside their chaos and start existing for yourself again. It's not about punishing them, It's about reclaiming your peace, your identity, and your self-respect. Because when you finally go silent, you're doing something they never expected. You're detaching. Narcissists survive on emotional energy. Positive or negative, they don't care. They just need to feel they matter enough to provoke you. But silence tells them they no longer matter. Not because you hate them, but because you've outgrown them. It's the purest form of indifference, and indifference is death to a narcissist's ego. You're not fighting back anymore because there's nothing left to fight for. The war ends not with explosions, but with quiet clarity. Silence transforms you. Much energy defending yourself against someone who never wanted to understand you. You see how much peace was stolen by arguments that went nowhere, explanations that were twisted, and love that was conditional. When you choose silence, you're choosing to stop feeding that cycle. You're choosing to no longer be a character in their story. You're writing your own again, and that's where true power lies, in the choice to walk away without needing closure, apology, or acknowledgement. The narcissist will see your silence as an insult because it strips them of importance. They'll try to provoke you, not because they miss you, but because they can't stand being forgotten. They'll test your boundaries, pretending to care, trying to spark a reaction, anything to feel that they still hold space in your mind. But silence denies them that oxygen. It tells them you're not relevant anymore, and that's the one truth they can't handle. You see, revenge keeps you tied to them. It keeps your energy focused on proving something, but silence cuts the cord. It's not reactive, it's final. It's peace disguised as distance, and that peace is what they can never reach, because peace requires honesty, and honesty is what they fear most. In your silence, you are no longer the victim. You are the one who woke up. You are the one who decided that your healing matters more than their validation. You're no longer trying to win because you've already won by stepping out of the game, so let them talk. Let them twist stories, pretend project. You owe them nothing. Your silence is not revenge, it's revelation. It says, I've moved beyond you. You no longer define me. Your chaos no longer touches me. That's the beauty of it. Silence doesn't destroy them. It frees you. And the moment you embrace that truth, the chains they once wrapped around your spirit fall away. Because in that stillness, in that powerful, wordless space, you finally become what they could never be, whole, untouchable, and free.